Hello everybody, welcome to today's live stream. Let's just see. Okay, yep, we're all good. Everything looks good. As per usual, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask in the YouTube chat. Otherwise, afterwards, if you didn't get a chance, feel free to ask in the Discord. Let's see. You know what? Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna change something. All right, that should be a little bit better. Okay, so we'll go ahead and dive into the charts. You guys know I always like to start out with more of like a high time frame analysis that we always review. Typically at the start of every week, we kind of start on our high time frame analysis, get a good idea of where we're at on the charts to sort of guide us to find some good trades on lower time frames, more locally. So, first things first. So I am long BTC. I longed from, well, actually, I longed here, closed some here, opened up. I opened up more here with my stop like down here. And I'm also long Link and ARB, which we will review, and then we'll also take a look at ETH. That I would have liked to have longed, but I'm maxed out on my risk parameters with my positions on BTC, Link, and Arbitrum. Having that long exposure, I just don't have any more room within my risk parameters to open up some ETH positions. So that's kind of where I drew the line. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at that higher time frame analysis, starting with BTC, do some updating on our charts, and kind of go from there. So it's super important to remember, like I said, I am in some long positions. Get this open. I am in some long positions, but it's really important to take note that I am generally expecting lower. Okay. Like I do not think that, we're all of a sudden going to start ripping super high and whatever. No, that's not the case at all. In fact, I really am looking for, ideally to do something. I'm looking for something ideally like this, right? To do like a 1, 2, 3, 4 backtest this monthly that we totally just fell straight through, backtest that zone, and then kind of get like a move down here for like a deviation, kind of like a deviation or a sweep of this low and a sweep of this low here, something kind of like this, right? For then, a move up, and I'll show you guys what that looks like, our general plan here. I'm looking for kind of something like this, all right, where we get this move down, deviate back into the range, or sweep this low and sweep this low, something to that effect, see some local setup, take the position, for this stuff here, take the position, look for a move up. I really don't think we'll go this high. I think at the time that we drew this out, I think that this is like a very optimistic right shoulder. I think it's probably more likely that we, probably do something, more in this area, 28 half max. I just really don't see us getting like a really big move up on BTC. I think that there's a lot of weakness in the market. So I'm still liking this plan, where we kind of make this sort of head and shoulders formation, get people super bearish, do some kind of a drop that baits shorts, get like a really nice balance. We have this previous range value area high, the untapped weekly here, as well as a monthly naked point of control, plus the 618 of the entire move up that we had since the bear market lows. So for me, this is like a really, really key spot that we could, look to for some kind of a bounce. And, timing wise, I think it lines up really nice. And it would be even better if, we did sort of, let's say we just got rid of this here. Let's say we did do something kind of like this. And then we kind of came down here, got this really aggressive move down, tapped that tapped this trend line, right? Sort of back test it, and then we kind of have that continuation to the upside, that move up that sort of coincides with you know, talks of possible rate cuts, or you know, the starting of the BTC halving, and et cetera, kind of that narrative starting to spin over here, where we sort of get this move up, where we anticipate further continuation to the upside in the not so distant future from here. So I'm still following this macro plan, right? Okay, so with that said, if I'm long here right now, it's really not a big long, right? Like, I'm not expecting some massive move to the upside. At maximum, I'm looking at 27.2. And even that, God, I would feel really lucky to even get 27.2. Really, I think just around 27 would be plenty for me. Like, I really wouldn't need to go beyond 27 for me to start really taking some profits. Like, I think that would be a really great spot. Okay. So, all right, cool. So that is still the case. Let's just go ahead and take a look. Yeah, I mean, really, guys, not a whole lot has changed since we did that BTC analysis. I believe it was, gosh, when did we do that? I think it was last Monday. If you get a chance, go ahead and watch that. It's a start to finish analysis on BTC that we came up with this setup here. You see literally start to finish, how did I come up with this plan? It can be really educational for you guys that are looking to... you know, the whole reason I did it is someone DM'd me and said, hey, like, how do you come up with your trading setups? Like, I know about Elliott waves, I know about naked point of controls, volume profiles, Fibonacci. I know all these things, but like, I don't know how to use these things to come up with an actionable trade, right? How to come up with a trade setup. So that's really what I do in that live stream. I believe it was last Monday. So if you haven't checked that out, please do it. It's a walkthrough of why I think that this is going to be how BTC is going to trade for a time. Okay, so key thing to take note of here. Yes, I'm long, but I'm expecting lower. Okay, this long is a scalp, not necessarily a scalp. I plan on holding it for a few days here, but like, the point is I'm not expecting some insane move to the upside. If we got it, cool. That's great, but I totally don't expect that. Okay. So we'll go ahead to well, how do I want to do this? Let's go ahead and take a look at our ETH analysis from, I believe it was last Friday. And really, you know, what I was looking for here, we can go ahead and hide this. What I was looking for was, do we have our plan? Yes, we do. So I was looking for basically just like some kind of maybe tap this, you know, this trend line again. So, all right, let's zoom out for a second. We have sort of this, you know, ascending triangle formation here, which can be considered bullish. We also have this sideways channel. You know, you can see that price is really just fluctuating between this channel. And we bounced basically to the dollar off of the midline, as well as this upwards trend line, right? So we can see that that area is holding really nicely as support. And ultimately, you know, what I was looking for was basically one of two things. You know, kind of do sort of a rounding formation here, create some kind of a local setup that we can trade. Maybe tap this trend line again, and then, you know, have some kind of a move up, maybe back to, you know, range highs basically. The other thing would be to get this sweep of the low here. Now, this coincides really nicely with BTC, because on BTC, what are we looking for is basically to take out that low. But I am long, so I'm looking for some kind of a move up, and then kind of that move down to sweep that, and then maybe have continuation to the upside. So that's kind of why I like this idea of sweeping this low one more time before we get some degree of a move up. Otherwise, if we do get that move down, back test this trend line as well as the midline here and lose those levels, I see absolutely no reason why ETH cannot go lower and trade to, you know, range lows in the yearly open and this untapped monthly that we have down here. Okay. So key thing to take away here, you know, key thing to take away with ETH, basically lose the midline, lose this trend line, back test it. It's lights out. We're going to range lows. Hold this zone, maybe get a sweep here, some kind of a local setup somewhere like in this general zone, right? Somewhere in this general zone, some kind of a local setup. We can very much trade back to range highs for some kind of a move. Okay. That's my general idea with Ethereum. Just to update you guys, really not a whole lot has happened. If we go to like a lower time frame, you know, we can see that we did get a nice swing failure here so far, which, you know, that's, I guess that's on a, it didn't quite swing fail, did it? Yeah, it didn't quite swing fail on the hourly, but we did get a really nice move up, swept these lows here, I mean, these highs. You know, so again, I wanted to long from down here this morning, and you can see why. We did get a really nice move, and this could be the move already played out. You know, we'll have to sort of wait and see how the week unfolds. We did get a swing failure on the 4-hour time frame, but again, we could have just swept these low highs, and really that could be it, and we can just get a range. So we'll have to, you know, take it bit by bit here. Really, right now for me, there's no actionable trade. Like I said, I'm already met my risk parameters on my long exposure. Not really interested in adding any more here. I would rather go to a higher time frame and wait for, you know, maybe something of a sweep of this low or something like that for this setup. Look to long that back up here, or you know, it's something more of along those lines for a setup. Okay. And part of the reason why I did like some of these things on Ethereum, like I'm generally bearish on the market, right? But Ethereum does have some things going on for it here. Like when it has this, you know, ascending triangle, holding the midline, et cetera, like on a higher time frame, I can see some reason to be bullish here, which, as I said this last Friday, I said this kind of throws me off a little bit because I do expect lower on the market. And the other thing too that we have here is this nice descending wedge that we can see is a pretty high time frame descending wedge, or falling wedge here. So, you know, a breakout of this, we could expect maybe a move back to the midline of this channel on ETH BTC here, which means we could see some strength on Ethereum versus BTC. Again, I see these things on the charts. I can't ignore them. It's really important to like pay attention to what the chart is telling you. That said, it's just kind of like, I really just expect the market to go lower. So when I see this, it's like mixed signals. But again, I can't ignore what the charts are saying. If we do have a breakdown of this structure and it's not bullish, I expect the breakdown to be pretty massive and, you know, likely again to bring us back down to range lows in that yearly open level around 1200, 1100, 1200 zone. Okay, so it's really important to kind of take note of that. Arbitrum, we have, let's see here. We have this higher time frame bullish harmonic here, which is part of the reason why well, not part of the reason, it is the reason why I'm looking to trade it and long it. I have adjusted my stop. So I put my stop here like on BitGet, which is what I'm trading on right now with Arbitrum. This wick here actually wicked down to like around 88.8, or I'm sorry, like around 0.888. So the wick is actually lower than what shows here on Binance. All right, but since then, I've adjusted my stop on this long to be below this low because I think that, you know, basically if we go on a lower time frame here, we can see that, you know, we did have this kind of like a nice setup here. We didn't quite get the swing failure on that time frame, but on a 4-hour we did, and we can see that that level is holding really nicely. Going back to the hourly, really what it is for me is we have this nice kind of trend line here that if we continue to reject from, I don't see any reason why we don't go lower. Probably end up sweeping both these lows and stopping me out. However, if we reclaim this level as well as the 6.6 here, I don't see any reason why we couldn't have some degree of continuation to the upside for Arbitrum, right? And kind of what I would be looking for, I have all of these 1H drawn out. But, you know, really what I would be looking for is to kind of take a position, you know, kind of take a position, you know, closing somewhere around these highs, right? Probably somewhere near this trend line sort of a thing would really be like a key take profit zone for me. But ultimately, you know, with this bullish harmonic, you would assume that this low will hold, right? We've gotten so close to the low here, and like one of my favorite setups to have is when you have like a higher time frame harmonic like that, price just like loves to get this massive bounce and then get damn near taking out that low, but not quite taking it out for then continuation to the upside. We've seen this before on, I think like a really good example of this is on Ethereum. Go back to like way back here. Man, do I have it saved? It was a pretty old harmonic. Oh, that would be great if I had it saved, so I don't try to find it. Okay, here it is here. You know, now granted, the one on Arbitrum's not a perfect harmonic. This was a damn near perfect harmonic. But you can see we put in the low here and like didn't take out the low, but just barely missed it, right? For like nearly a double bottom. And then of course we had this just massive rally to the upside where this harmonic played out perfectly. So I kind of see like that similar thing on Arbitrum. Again, like I'm generally bearish on the market. So like I take all of this with a grain of salt, and I'm just happy to like get any pump where I can make some profits on a trade like this. But, you know, again, going down kind of like those lower time frames, you can see we just barely took out the low, which is a setup that I do like to see for harmonics, generally speaking, where we just barely get there and bait shorts and people think we're going lower and we don't. So for my next step on Arbitrum, what I'd really like to see, and this isn't my entry anymore, my entry is somewhere down here. My entry is somewhere down here. So sorry, I have that updated now. But what I'm looking for is for, like I said, a reclaim of this zone here, for some market structure change and continuation to the upside and start taking out some of these previous highs here. If I see something like that, okay, great. This long trade is looking good. We can definitely keep it open and look a little bit higher. At the very least, like the primary target of this harmonic is, about 1.18. I will most definitely be taking profit much before that, just because I'm, again, overall bearish on the market. So, get into around $1. I mean, even around $1, I would be really happy and start taking profits. Again, like these highs are pretty key for me. So just getting a reclaim here and seeing kind of a move back up into this zone where this trend line is. Yeah, definitely going to be taking some profit there. Maybe add back more on some kind of a back test. We'll have to just sort of play it by ear and see what happens there. Taking a look at Link, I've really just wanted to long Link for quite some time. And I've been stopped out a couple times trying to long it locally and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so if we go ahead and look at Link kind of on a higher time frame here, we'll go to a 3-day. We can see that we are in this like massively respected sideways channel. Where price is, trading back and forth between the high and the low. We have this really nice deviation here that tells me that, I think that like this is the low for the time being, with that deviation there. And these highs, none of these highs have been taken out. So like ideally, sweeping all of these highs would just be an excellent move to the upside that I would just love to see. Again, market is generally bearish. I'm not going to be holding my breath for some massive move like this, but at the very least, like a move to the midline would be really, really, really nice. And we can go ahead down to a lower time frame. We'll talk a little bit about, why I took my positioning today. Basically kind of sweeping this low again here. Getting a sweep of that low and looking at this, I mean, you guys know how much I love to trade kind of like this deviation setup. Well, we can see here that this area acted as resistance for a time and we were putting in the small range. Well, we had this like little bit of a deviation here, reclaim the level. Well, let's go down to an even lower time frame. We put in like this small sideways range here below, what was acting as this resistance level. And then we put in this little deviation here below this like little mini range that we formed. And have since then broken back in and are now testing that high again. I don't see any reason why if Link can find the strength to reclaim this level and have some degree of continuation to the upside back towards the 618, where we can sort of get back inside this channel up here, it would basically be what I would look for, some kind of a move up and a reclaim of this zone for continuation to the upside. So similarly, like how Arbitrum has that that trend line there that I'm looking to reclaim on ARB, right? Well, this is that zone for me on Link. If we can get back above this, reclaim this level, I don't see any reason why we won't trade back up at least to the 618 zone. Kind of back up into this area here, which, like I've posted in the Discord, like that 6.2 zone, like around the 618, 6.175, 6.2, pretty key take profit for me, like this area here. Pretty key take profit, this kind of zone for a long like this. And again, you know, let's really understand what kind of a move that is. My long position, I think my entry might even be better than that, but you know, that's a 4% move, 4 to 5% move. I mean, that's great. You know, I would love to see something like that. Again, on Link, I've moved my stop up to here. You know, pretty basic trade, but again, like on a higher time frame, if I'm end up being willing to hold this for longer, and if BTC does play ball a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a move to the midline here. If it really started showing some strength, again, I'm not going to hold my breath. I think like this 6.1 to 6.3 zone is like a pretty key take profit for me. Ultimately, it really is my primary target, but I would still love to see like that move to the midline. We'll kind of just have to play it by ear and see what happens. So that's sort of my setup on Link right now, and why I'm in this trade. Still holding this trade. I think that, you know, all of this consolidation under resistance here is not. I don't think that this resistance is going to hold, you know, especially like I said, we kind of had this deviation of this mini range. Reclaim this and it's game on. It's totally game on for a continuation on a move up with Link. Okay. So far we've done some high time frame analysis. We've updated our high time frame analysis on BTC. Talked about how I'm just generally looking for some kind of a wave 4, some small wave 4 retracement. I'm not looking for some massive pump to the upside at all, because overall I do expect lower on the market, but I cannot ignore the setups that are right in front of me, and I am seeing setups, especially like I said on Link here, as well as Arbitrum. So I am long those two assets. I am not long on Ethereum. I'm going to wait for the higher time frame levels to play out on Ethereum. I am long BTC, but again, I'm more so waiting on that sort of those higher time frame levels on BTC to start trading out. You know, in accordance with sort of this plan here. I'm really more eager to take these trades. As a matter of fact, I may even look to take a short on this wave 4 for our wave 5 down. May look for some kind of a short position. You know, might be something that I'm happy to take. If we go down to even lower time frames, and we can talk a little bit about updating our charts here on BTC. This is the daily open. You can see that this is a really key level, and something that I had said earlier this morning when we were entering longs, and that was, boy howdy, that was early. That was all in here. I was saying, yeah, I'm longing. Basically what I said, reclaim the daily open here, and I think, you know, this move could have some legs, and you can see that right now the daily open is really acting as a great area of support. So continue to hold that. I don't see any reason why we couldn't have some kind of a move up or some degree of continuation to the upside. We'll have to see how this next 4-hour candle closes. Ideally, this next 4-hour candle, like, I do not want to do a sweep of these. It would be really great if we could close above this level here, and especially the daily open, right? You can see it's pretty obvious the level here, right? This area is typically where prices rolled over many times. It could roll over here again, right? The key would be getting up above these levels, showing some strength, having some good closes on the hourly and 4-hour candles. And especially getting above this level here and holding as support, you know, is definitely kind of that time that we can start to look a little bit higher. And again, like I said, I would just love to see kind of a move like this, and then, you know, have a total breakdown, just a really discouraging breakdown that people heavily short. Okay, so I want to go to, oh, we already are on that. Gosh, you know, I'll go ahead and we'll just like look. We'll do some small updating on this chart. There just really isn't a whole lot to update, in my opinion, right now. What do we have for time? Just about a half hour. Yeah, I strongly feel that there's just not like a whole lot to update right now on the chart. So I'll go ahead and mark out some of these new levels here. We'll take a look at high block and some of the liquidity levels, stuff like that, but really not a whole lot to report, right? I mean, really the only thing that I would like to update, truth be told, is like my previous week levels. Yeah, I haven't updated those in a minute. Whole lot of reasons. I don't know if you guys remember, but as soon as we got that drop, I was like, yeah, just plan on range for a while. There's really not going to be a whole lot of action going on, right? Right, so let's go down to a 4-hour time frame. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the daily open because it's also our weekly open. And this is kind of the range the BTC is inside right now. Previous week range, high and low. At the very least, again, really just want to see a sweep of this previous week high. I would even take to that 27,200, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Just a sweep of the previous week high. Awesome. Swing failure. Maybe we'll get a short setup or something like that. That would be super, super, super nice. As a matter of fact, what might be a really good position in the future here would be to, do something like this and, wind up trading it kind of down quite a bit lower. I think that this has potential for a really good setup here and is something that I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on. So what I'll do is I'm actually going to set an alert here, and I'm going to say on that alert, at this one, and we're going to say look for a sweep of previous week high, possible short, SL above monthly. Watch for possible back test on monthly, however, if BTC shows more strength. So in my opinion, this would be the setup for the week, would be this short on BTC. This is definitely, for me, would be the trade of the week, what I would be looking for right here, and I would short the absolute life out of this. And what we would be looking for here is sort of this move up, sweep of this high, a lot of trap longs, close below, swing failure, do something like that, or even better, even better yet, I would love it if we got this move and then a deviation like this to then do that, right? One of these two things for me would be ideal, right? Either a sweep or a deviation. If we get the deviation, obviously this wouldn't be the setup anymore. We would move our entry and our stop loss. We would do some adjustments to this setup, but for now I am going to keep it on this sweep and kind of look at something like this. For me, again, this would be like the trade of the week is what I would be looking for here. Let's see. Yeah, that's for me, that's really about it. I don't, yeah, I don't really see a whole lot else. No surprise to you guys. The market really hasn't been doing a whole lot. I mean, look at this. We've been going sideways since, what is that, August 17th, the 17th of August. So it's been about 11 days we've spent in this range, right? Not a whole lot to update on. Those of you who are trading this range back and forth, good for you. That's awesome. Really happy to see it. I have not really been doing any lower time frame trades as of late in terms of like range trading like this. But I'm really happy to be in the positions I'm in today. I think that we have some good long setups for a potential move to the upside. So here's what I'll end it on. I just here's what I'll say. I acknowledge that we are very much in a bear market right now, and engagement is super, super, super low across crypto Twitter and for anybody that's doing analysis, the people, a lot of people just generally aren't interested. I was actually out with some friends and I was talking to like a bartender somewhere and they asked what I did for a living. I said I trade futures contracts and whatever, and we got to talking, and of course crypto came up, and he was so surprised. He goes, isn't crypto dead? Like, people really aren't interested in that anymore. And I kind of laughed to myself. I mean, BTC is up, had 100% pump since last November. So we had this like massive move to the upside. There's still so much potential in trading these really volatile assets in crypto, but it's unsurprising to hear, some people say stuff like that. Especially, I think that we're like at peak bear market blues, like searches for Bitcoin are at lows, and Anyway, the whole point I want to get at is if you're here today, if you're active in the Discord, if you're watching these streams, thank you. Thank you for your support. And even more so, pat yourselves on the back for trading, you know, arguably the hardest part of any crypto cycle or any part of the market. These are really, really difficult times to trade right now because the liquidity and the volume is also low. And it's really just traders versus traders. There is no easy money to be made. So give yourselves a pat on the back. And again, thank you guys for the support. You know, I recently broke 500 subscribers on YouTube, and I know that's not a lot, but for me, that was a really, really massive achievement because I remember starting out like having, you know, 1, 2, 3, then 10, then 20, then 50, then 100. And I remember I hit 100 and I'm like, wow, there are 100 people who are actually interested in what I have to say in it. It was really encouraging. I started this out. I really don't need to be doing this, right? I have no reason to be sharing these setups and all that. And I could be trading on my own, but the reason I wanted to do it was for a couple reasons. One, I really wanted people to trade with. I thought it would be fun to have a community and a group of people to trade with. Secondly, I thought that, you know, I've seen a lot of the other communities and I think that they really fall short of, you know, what is possible and what someone can offer. So I wanted to fill that gap and offer like a really high quality product and community for people to trade in. And so far I've been, you know, really happy with that. And anyway, the point is I've, despite being, you know, in low engagement times and in the bear market, we are growing every day. Our community is growing every day. There's people joining the Discord every day. I now have 638 subscribers, and it feels like yesterday that we broke 500. So thank you guys for your support. I hope that you find value in what I do, and I just want you to know that I really do appreciate it. It's super cool to see that. So we'll end it there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the Discord. I'll go ahead and like post this chart and keep you guys updated throughout the week. But we do have the last thing I will take a look at here that I want to show you is sort of just a calendar. We do have Jolt's job openings tomorrow in the morning, and then we also have the big one, which is our GDP and the non-farm employment change on Wednesday. PCE and non-farm employment change on Friday. So there's a whole host of things that will create a lot of volatility in the markets. You know, so basically taking a look, you know, if you just look at the heat map here and sort of see like a lot of these levels that are hotspots right now. You know, and this is something I'll share on the Discord for you guys too. But we're really, you know, 27K and 25,100 are sort of the caps, and then we also have some liquidity, of course, like above the local highs here. So just do keep that in mind. Stay safe, manage your risk as always, and of course I'll keep you guys updated throughout the week. Thanks again.